Why must you flip the inequality sign in absolute value inequalities? Imagine trying to solve a puzzle where one piece can flip and turn to fit in different spots. That's kind of what happens when you work with absolute value inequalities. When you see an absolute value, it's like measuring the distance from 0 on the number line. That distance is always positive or 0. For example, if you see the expression x less than 5, it means the distance of x from 0 is less than 5. So, x has to be somewhere between -5 and +5. Now, when you solve these inequalities, you often split them into two parts to get rid of the absolute value bars. For less than inequalities, like x less than 5, you write it as two separate inequalities. X is greater than -5 and less than 5. That part is straightforward. But things get interesting when you deal with greater than inequalities, like x greater than 5. Here, you split it into two cases. X is greater than 5 or x is less than -5. Here's where the flipping of the inequality sign comes into play. When you remove the absolute value, you sometimes need to multiply or divide both sides of the inequality by a negative number. And that's the key reason why you flip the inequality sign. It's a rule in algebra that whenever you multiply or divide both sides of an inequality by a negative number, you have to reverse the inequality sign. This keeps the statement true because, on the number line, multiplying by a negative flips the order of the numbers. Think about it this way. If you have an inequality like x divided by -1 is greater than 3, you need to flip the sign when you multiply both sides by -1. So, it becomes x is less than -3. This rule applies when solving absolute value inequalities too. When you split the inequality into two parts, one part might involve multiplying or dividing by a negative number, which means you must flip the sign to stay accurate. For example, if you start with 3x less than 6, you rewrite it as -6 less than 3x and 3x less than 6. When you divide all parts by 3, which is positive, you don't flip anything. But if you had an inequality where you divided by a negative number, you would flip the sign. It's all about keeping the inequality correct on the number line. So, the main reason you flip the inequality sign in absolute value inequalities is because, when you remove the absolute value, you create a second inequality involving a negative number. Multiplying or dividing by that negative number reverses the order of the inequality, and that's why the sign must be flipped. It's a simple rule that keeps your solutions accurate and makes sure you're describing the right set of numbers that satisfy the original inequality.